Welcome back to Clara. I'm your girl, Clara. And if you follow me on social media, it's CK_music. And guys, I know by the title you're like, clearly you're lying. No. If you're interested in hearing about my 11-year journey in singleness, keep watching. I brought my wine out. For this because, can I tell you I'm nervous? I really am nervous, and when I was thinking about what the next vlog would be, I know I hinted at a couple things that I wanted to speak to, but talking about my journey in singleness and or love just felt right. It's sat heavy on me all week. I'm gonna say, all right, God, how am I gonna do this? And I listened back to this podcast that I did with Mario Evan, and it was called Being Single. And I'm definitely going to link the link to his YouTube, because it's on YouTube and it's also on podcast. Any app or streaming platform that features podcasts, he's on. And it was a great conversation. And I went, girl, you're outside with your life. You were outside, you know. And at that time I wasn't as nervous, I think, because Mario made me so comfortable. But now I'm by myself and I'm like, are you about to lay it out now, you know? But I also felt like, honestly, if I'm supposed to be sharing with you, my tribe, things about me and lessons, vulnerability is going to play a huge part in not just the success but the authenticity of the channel. And so I said, you know what, it's not that I didn't even want to talk about it, because 11 years seems like a long time. I feel as if people go, Jesus Christ, 11 years, girl, and there's a side eye. It's the side eye, but I can explain. I really can explain. So let me start off by this. I define singleness as no man has claimed me and said, hey, you are my wife, you my boo, you my girl, mommy, daddy, this is my future baby mama, my future wife. That wasn't happening. Nor could I say, mom, dad, pops, this is my hobby, it's my boo thing, like, yeah, we're married, John. So like, no, I couldn't. For 11 years, it's been 11 years since that happened. But if I'm being transparent, have I had companionship, or have I been in what we call situationships? Yeah, over the time. But that's what happens though or it's easy to slip in those situations when you don't confront the trauma or address the hurt or pain that you felt in this past relationship. It's what will happen when you are bitter for years. It's what will happen when you don't even realize that the toxic traits that you either adopted from the relationship or even caused the relationship to be destroyed, you haven't addressed. It's what will happen when you carry, as I said, a lot of bitterness or hate or fear of love. And if I'm honest, that's what happened with me. So let me start here. Have you ever loved somebody with every fiber of your being, with everything that you are, and even more than yourself? That was what my last relationship was for me. And to make a long story short, yeah, if I wrote in a diary everything that I wanted in a man, he was it. You know, he was gorgeous as a man, he was very charming, he was smart, he had a lot of potential, he was everything. But there were also things about him that I did not really bank on either. And then this was also at a time where I was recovering, you would say, much better than when I had attempted to take my life, but I was still vulnerable, if I'm being honest. So it was a relationship that I would say broke me, you know. And coming out of it, I would say, or let me say, he was the last person that I loved fearlessly, boldly, openly, wholeheartedly. Like, I wasn't afraid to get hurt. Not that I couldn't, I just wasn't, because that's the amount of faith and love that I had for him. But like what I said earlier, to love somebody more than you love yourself is not love. I read this book when he broke up. I read this book, The Value in the Valley by Iyanla Vanzant, and let me tell you something. It changed my life, and it showed me, like, one of the statements in there is, you are the first representation or an illustration of love. For everybody who's coming in your life, you need to show them how they should love you, which therefore means you have to take the time to learn to love yourself. And I realized I didn't love me. Honestly, it was just like, at that age, in 19, 18, 21, or that age, or if you put it like that, there's that age, and then coupled with self-worth issues, self-love issues, you are honestly okay with you will settle with the little attention that you get. I mean, you're loved and yeah, people own your power, whatever, but in terms of respect for self and respect from a partner, you don't look for those things, because truthfully speaking, like when I speak about, like, if you listen to the podcast, you will hear me say, like, I did everything and I tried to be the best version of me I thought he deserved, not what I thought I deserved. And when I spoke about the 5 years of self-discovery in my very first vlog, I had to do it. That was also a part of my journey. Like, it was about the music, but it was also self-discovery, because I learned in giving myself a chance. I learned that I wanted to do music and I loved it and I pursued it, but that was part of me healing me and learning and developing self-love, right? And we can settle in these situationships and this companionship because we don't have to deal with ego. We don't have to put our heart on the line. It's very easy. Nobody has no ties to anybody, and it's more selfish than it is self-serving. You know what I mean? Or selfless. I would say, for me, there came a time, I would say, like the first 5 years, honestly, I hated love. I carried bitterness around for a good little while until my best friend said, Clara, aren't you tired of being angry? Aren't you tired of being bitter? And I didn't know that that's what it was, because I was talking about the pain every day for a good little bit. And my fear of love, the idea of even liking somebody, or notion of liking somebody, or even open to the concept of love, scared me so much. I remember my best friend, I was talking to her, and she's just like, oh, so you like, and she could have feel the side eye I was giving her through the phone, because it just felt like I was opening up myself again to that hurt that I felt, because that's what I saw as love. Now, in the first 5 years, like I said, from my breakup, which was 2010, part of it was discovering myself. I did school, eventually I did music, and I had tunnel vision. My mother said, Clara, I worry about you sometimes, because when you get into something, it's like tunnel vision, and I see nothing different. So that was what was happening when I was pursuing music. I only saw that I don't have time to think about no man or no relationship or nothing. And situationships were easy. You got what you physically desired. You talk to people every now and again, or whatever, you got that little conversation in, but it did the do until it's a hell of a thing when, number one, you start to engage with a different sort of, when you engage in healthier relationships, and this is from platonic to even intimate ones, to show you that your vision and perspective of love is not, or how jaded it was. How for a long time I was seeing love from very hurtful and very broken eyes. And that when you are exposed to something better, or you begin to, I think for me, I was beginning to, because I was discovering myself, I was surrounding myself with the things and people that I want, and being exposed to that, I was able to get to be around more people like me, which is why it's important that you find your flock. And when I found somebody who I could relate to on a very deep level, who wasn't afraid of emotions, who wasn't afraid to hear me, you know, never ran away, even pushed me more to be myself, that even when I wanted to smile up, he's just like, no, what are you doing? It felt different, and I was like, my idea and concept of love changed, and I realized that it's not that love is bad, it's that I was loving the wrong person. And loving the wrong person can make you feel as if you should never love again. But if you believe in the biblical statements of, you know, love is patient, love is kind, love is never boastful, the tenderness and gentleness that comes with love, and it comes to you in different engagement, not sexual relationships, but in any engagement, then you cannot deny that love is a beautiful thing. And that was what was happening. That was point one. And then number two, remember when I told you in my first vlog that I was slowing down because mentally, emotionally, financially, every I was just feeling drained. During that time, my brother had his first child. Well, it's his only child. It's a whole family child. So my niece Imani came into the picture, and it was like, it's a hell of a thing when a child comes into play for like the family. Like, we all changed, you know, and she was such a blessing to all of us. And that's when I go, Clara, what do you have? Like, what do you honestly have in your name? A car loan, you know, no, please. I was still living with my parents. You don't really have, that's it. You know what I mean? You don't have a boyfriend really to even consider the fact of, or the perspective of family. Like, none of that exists. I haven't gone on a date. Like, what the hell is a date? Like, how does it work? What's the concept of it? Like, I did not know, you know? And that's when I realized that I was really denying myself a lot of things that really fuel me. And the truth of the matter is, at some point in time, the relationships or the situationships became uncomfortable, because what I was doing for a long time was holding back the part of me that loved to love to give love, like to pour into and support the person who I am committed to. I'm a relationship type of girl. But when society is saying, honestly, yo, one man can't work, you have to share him, or use the man, or make sure you have 3 different men to fulfill whatever desires, I'm just like, number one, I ain't comfortable sharing no man. They make you feel, it's almost like society makes you feel stupid for the fact that that's what you want. And then number two is, I got one job. I am not a juggler. I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to be doing this one for the nails, this one for the mortgage, this one for the that and that. I just want one person. I want a one-stop shop. I'm a one-stop shop type of girl. You know what I'm saying? So I always knew that, but even owning the fact that that's what I wanted, it took me 3 more years from that to really go, yo, I'm done with this situationship thing. I am a committed, I am the relationship type of girl. I do not, even in those situationships, I didn't take up with any and anybody. Truthfully, when I saw them, I saw them. And under the understanding, the scenario, I gave whatever, the most of me to that situation and to that person, because that's who I am and that's who I love to be in relationships. But the issue is that I personally had to remember that I had to get it back. Reciprocity is very important to me, but I had to learn about these things. And that's the thing about, even in those relationships, I had to learn. I was beginning to learn, Clara, these are the things that you don't like, and these are the things that you want. And that, to me, is when I was beginning to heal. And that never started until 2018. So 8 years had passed since the last relationship. And it is in 2018 when I had to own my truth. And when I say own, I mean own everything that I define and I know and want to be love. I had to own it, even going against what society or culture is dictating. I had to own my truth, right? And it's amazing to me how in doing that, in opening up and owning that, it was like the broken girlfriend or part of me went, finally, like, you see me. You know what I mean? You see us again. And then if that happened in 2018, by 2019, that was end of 2018. By 2019, was it 2019? Yes, it was 2019. By 2019, I told my story about suicide and depression for the first time, and that brought me to another level of vulnerability, because I was really coming from a very vulnerable space when I said I am a relationship type of girl and I own it. It wasn't just for the person who I was talking to on the phone, it was validation for me, right? But I had to come to a point where I was listening to my inner self, who was bawling and screaming for years, saying, yo, we can't do this. I get that you are trying to Jedi man trick yourself, girl, but we ain't in it. We can't do it, girl. We can't do it. And when that happened and I told my story, that's when I realized that there are a lot of deep wounds that I have to heal, that not just came with the trauma from, my depressive season, but also what came in my last relationship. And the years, and it was years of crying at night, like, God, when are you going to send him? And what am I being punished for? And why not me? And it's a hell of a thing. Not lie. It's a hell of a thing when you all look on some man who out there and going bad, and all of a sudden they're married and they're settled. And they're just like, you never even saw them settling, and then all of a sudden they're settled. And it's like, yo, so what up to me, so? I'm not gonna like, sometimes it felt like, why am I the prelude to the movie? Why am I not the movie? Why am I not the feature presentation? Why do I feel like the upcoming features? You get what I'm saying? Why isn't everybody showing up for me? That's what it felt like. And even just the pain during those times and those moments, I understood why. When I allowed myself to speak and be honest with self, I realized I wasn't ready. And I was like, when I began to open the door and really allow myself to, because even accepting the fact that I had to be vulnerable was a hard thing because of my pain, and I blamed. I realized when I apologized to myself and I became a lot more gentle with self, it was like the broken pieces of me just came forth, and I saw the different aspects of me that had not yet been resolved, or that I've been missing, or I actually blamed for some of the hurt, and it wasn't her fault. And then when I saw the 21, 23 or 25-year-old, I think, came forth, like, here I am, I was like, oh, you are who I was missing. Because I caged up, I was guarded. And even in relationships that were platonic, it was seen that I was guarded. I couldn't be intimate, meaning show my true self or be very vulnerable with people. And I found it very strange because that's who I am naturally. Around the right people, but it came easier, and for a while it wasn't coming. And when I saw her come forth, and it was almost like we did reconnect, I go, oh, I wasn't ready for a relationship. And truth be told, in those situationships, I'm not gonna lie, hear me a customer, I was like, yo, he's saying that he's not ready. I don't know if I'm gonna wait for an apocalypse to come until zombie have to walk the earth before you feel like, say, yeah, I'm ready for a relationship. And it was their emotional availability. At the time, I felt as if they never have it, or they would even admit that they are incapable of. But it's a funny way how life will, or the universe will reflect to you. You know what I mean? Now, if I didn't realize that all this time, that when I decided, or when I reconnected with these wounded and traumatized pieces of me, that I was emotionally unavailable. I couldn't love anybody. I had all of this to try to resolve. I couldn't love anybody. I was the one who was emotionally unavailable, and that was what was being reflected to me in these situationships and companionships, And I go, God, I get it. Hey, I get it. Don't carry the man. Cause all of the man come, I don't even know. I won't even know that is him in front of me. I won't know that is him in front of me. What do you mean? Truth be told, my tears stopped. And I was actually very happy that I wasn't pining and waning, like my nights weren't filled with me wondering when God went, because that's what it feels like. But I was spending time to heal myself. And then the amazing thing is, as I was looking for help and I was trying to heal in the ways that I needed to, I was exposed to content that would validate the thoughts and the desires that I had. Meaning, I was exposed to healthy couples, married couples who consisted of independent, strong men and independent women who submitted to their husbands, who were falling in accordance to the accord and the guidance of a divine source. Meaning, he sought after God's heart. You know what I mean? He's a God-fearing God, and I is a God-fearing man. And I don't know how many of us are taught to pray for a man who leads his life and is held and holds himself accountable to something and someone or higher source, right? And I did not discover the importance of having that in a partner until later on in my life. You get me? So things like that, I needed the time to realize that I wanted it, because I'm here leading my life in that way. And I can, to be honest, I'm not going to submit to a man who honestly, his counsel comes from his friends or people like him or his own will and power. I won't. But if I know you are submitting toward being held accountable and hold your life and mind accountable to somebody higher, the same source in which I hold my life accountable, by all means, take the wheel. Take the wheel. I am a superwoman. I'm not going to lie. I'm an independent woman. But sometimes I want to be rescued too. Sometimes I want to put up my cape. But it gets hard when it's just you alone. You know what I mean? I don't want somebody to honestly rescue me, in the sense that do everything for me. But you see, I walk through my house door and I take off my super cape and you see my bruises. And I love if somebody come and just hold me, or him, help me nurse my bruises, or him support me and him push me out and say, babe, go on again. Do it, I believe in you. You understand? And support me in the ways that I need to. And things like that, I did not recognize and would not come to the realization to until I owned the fact that these are the things that I want. This is what I'm seeking. And I was shown more. God showed me more of what I needed to see. 2020, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so grateful for the slowdown. I'm sad about the losses and the death and the impacts that it had on the economy and people's lives. But I'm so grateful for the slowdown because I needed it. I needed it. And I was seeing podcasts and YouTube channels that like called Dear Future Wifey, where what caught me about it was, number one, you had men and women, but it was different for me to hear men come and speak in the same language I'm talking about healing his inner man, where he is owning up to the fact that he might have caused hurt and damage in a lady life. Like he's owning up to accountability. You're seeing him have accountability for self. You're seeing him saying, I need to take some time to heal myself and deal with myself, and I want to be the best version that I can be for my future wife, because that's what I want to give. And they remove themselves in certain ways and certain temptations so that they can give to themselves the focus and the energy that they need in order to be their best selves. It was amazing to me, but I don't think it would have come unless I, as again, was vulnerable and honest enough to say, this is what I want. And it is hard. A big thing for me also was the fact that people came and say, yo, CK, you need to have a rich man for you. Him drive a this, him own a this, him have a this, and him have a this. And I say, alright, how him look? Because people, I'm not gonna lie to you, I take my intimacy seriously. I'm just gonna diplomatically say it like that. I take it seriously, so I have to be attracted to the person. I have to be attracted to the way in which he lives his life. I have to be attracted to him physically. I have to be attracted to him emotionally. I have to want to open myself in every way you want to take that to him. So how you look, how you feel, how you carry yourself, not your attributes, not your, what should I say, not your material things and assets, but who you are as a man matters to me. So my ears, I find it strange when somebody first describes you, and that's how you have to look. How are people describing you in a room? Do they first leave with, yo, in Java Benz Bima this, yo, she's sexy, she this, or are they describing the sort of woman you are, your characteristics, your attributes? Because those are the sort of people you also can't even to look for guidance and help in this singleness season, you know. And I want to take this will be the first of many discussions and heart to hearts regarding singleness, because there's so many ways to take it, but I just wanted to give you my story and my story to why I've been single for 11 years. Am I open? Oh yeah, there was a point where I wasn't, but I realized I had to become comfortable and open and loving to people, not just men or looking for a partner or whatever. I mean, just people again. And I believe from the 2018 to now, that was when I owned the fact that how I love and how I want to love, it allowed for me to heal that part of me again, you know. And so I take my singleness a bit more serious now, and I believe in what I believe that number one, I'm worth the wait, and I believe that what is mine is also worth the wait. And there will come times, I'm not gonna look and lie to you, of course there'll be times of temptation, you know what I mean? But which is why your period of singleness is very important for you to define who you are, so that those times of temptation, you know, you don't falter and sacrifice. I mean, stumbling, because we're not perfect, you know, but I mean, where your perspective is not jaded or you're distracted from the course that you're supposed to take to what is rightfully yours. You get what I'm saying? So that was my little, cause you know I can't explain, you know, I got a story for everything. So that was my intro to, or what should I say, insight to my love, where I am with love, and my singleness. Comment below, because I know I've been rambling. Comment below whether or not you're on this journey with me, whether or not you're scared, how has it been for you. You can even give me tips. Hey, we can probably share some tips, but we'll be discussing it further. But I figured that it would be kind of strange if I'm just like, all right, so singleness, and you start bringing in people and be like, see what's up with you, you know. So I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little better than I thought, guys, because I was a little nervous. That's why I have the wine, and it's a little long, but I think it's worth it. So I hope you enjoyed. Comment, share, like, subscribe. You know the drill. You know the Schweppes, guys. And I hope this helps you get clearer about yourself. And I hope you enjoy getting clearer with Clara.